Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have National Treasure. This is Nicolas Cage's first of so far two uh, National Treasure films. There's talk of a third coming someday, set in our modern times. Believe it or not, this was done in 2004. It's a 2 hour and 11-minute long movie, and it's kind of got a real patriotic streak in it. This is post 9/11, so we're very much America rah rah still at this point, and it is it just tells a story of Nicolas Cage as a normal human dude, which is a rare occurrence in a Nicolas Cage starring film. Yes, okay. Nicolas Cage is a man who launched 1,000 memes. He is very much a strange character, but he's a good actor. He's if not a great actor. Uh, I'm pretty sure he's depending on the film you're looking at him in, it might make a difference. But either way, you can never say that his performance does not have an impact. He's not something you just sort of pass by and go, oh yeah, he was in that. No, you go that is a Nicolas Cage film. This is very much a Nicolas Cage film, even though he's a little bit more restrained in this than in other vehicles he's been in. So yeah, he plays a treasure hunter who uh, seeks out some of the greatest, well, if not the greatest treasure of all time, something that his family for generations has hunted for, and to much failure over the years. And they're sort of considered not reliable, and they're also considered, I don't know, there's a lot of shame that comes with the Gates name, which is his last name, obviously. His dad, by the way, is played by John Voight, Angelina Jolie's dad. So John Voight he's kind of rumpled, and he's given up on the treasure hunting, and he doesn't think it's a worthwhile pursuit. Their name has been made a disgrace, so he's out of it. But what we find in the very beginning of the film is we see a very young, what's his character's name? Benjamin Franklin, of course, Benjamin Franklin Gates. His family was just born into American history. Benjamin Franklin Gates, as a boy, he's being regaled with stories of treasure and the history of this nation with the Masons, and also history beyond America, where these treasures have come from around the world, through the Knights Templar and things like that. Christopher Plummer plays his grandfather in a very short cameo scene, not long enough, but you get Christopher Plummer, you get John Voight, you get Nicolas Cage, and you get Sean Bean as a bad guy. Very quickly off. If you don't figure out that he's going to be a bad guy, a rival for these major treasures, even though they're teamed up at the very beginning of the film, after that flashback, hunting for a treasure almost at the North Pole, up in the Arctic. If you don't know that Sean Bean's going to be a problem, then you're just not paying attention. But yeah, you get Sean Bean. You know who Sean Bean is. He's the guy who dies in most of the films he's in. He doesn't die in this one. Tell you that much. So that's one spoiler, but I'm not going to give you any more, because even though this movie is about 16, 17 years old, you should know what goes on. You should have seen this by now. But if you haven't, if for some reason you're watching me talk about National Treasure to recommend it to you, and you haven't seen it on your own or recommendations from friends, seriously, I recommend it to you. It's something that everybody should experience. Yeah, it's a little over the top with its puzzle solving, and yeah, there's Nick with his hand on his chin to try to figure out as he verbally works through a problem. And the great thing about this is that that's a little bit goofy, a little bit over the top as he susses out the problem. He has his little sidekick, sorry, Justin Bartha. He plays Riley as his associate, who is, goes with him on these trips. Riley is used to all this talking out loud thing, and he's kind of us going along for the ride and going, okay, enough of the talking out, the puzzling, and everything else. We get it, and so he sort of deflates all that pomposity that comes with it, knowing that it's you're playing it up for a little bit more drama than you probably should, but It's the nature of the film, and it's all right. It's cool. It's fun. This is a fun. I want to keep wanting to say Indiana Jones, but it's not, because it's not a period piece. Even though by 2004 might be a period piece eventually. It actually holds up really well. Yeah, the technology is a little bit outdated, but they don't rely heavily on technology to figure out these clues. And some of the stuff, yeah, it doesn't line up exactly historically from what I've been told. I'm not a historian myself, so I don't know. But if you did a deep dive like these guys do just to find the treasure, you'd find there's inconsistencies. There's stuff that was sort of pieced together, obviously, to make a story, to make it a grand adventure. And this is what it is. It jumps from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia to New York, and even a little tiny piece in Boston. So there's a lot of... It travels the birthplaces of our democracy, of our revolution from the English. And it's kind of fitting that Sean Bean, an Englishman, is the bad guy versus the Americans in this film. So, yeah, we also get, by the way, we get Diane Kruger plays Abigail Chase. She's works for the government, I think. She has a position at the Smithsonian or something. I think she's a curator of these things, and she gets mixed up with Nicolas Cage when he decides we gotta steal the Declaration of Independence. That's the hook. If you haven't seen the trailer, I'm not really ruining anything for you, but in order to keep the Declaration of Independence from falling into the wrong hands by being stolen, they have to steal it themselves. It's the logic that you find in this film. But it is, yes, as silly as it may seem at times, it is absolutely 100% fun. And it just flows. It has a good rhythm. It doesn't lag. There's lots of great back and forth dialogue. There's even one of my favorite parts is just by one of the lackeys to Sean Bean, as they're... this is not a big surprise, but it might count as a spoiler. When they're in some caverns, let's say, I'll make it very vague. When there's some caverns, both the bad guys and the good guys together, as they're making their way through, Nicolas Cage and Abigail kiss, and one of the flunkies, one of the goons to Sean Bean, steps back as they step out of frame and goes, "What has that never happened to me?" He's been in the treasure hunting business as well under Sean Bean, and he's just like, I want to get the girl, come on. It's just his way it's delivered. It's just funny, and it's something you wouldn't expect in any other film from a totally barely named character. I think it was Powell. I honestly, he has a name, but it's not like he's a goon. He's a guy who shoots a gun and punches people and kidnaps people, and that's what he is. But the fact that they gave him that little nuance of character in that moment is just, to me, awesome. I just love it. Let's see if I can remember if anybody else is in this. I got Christopher Plummer. We got, Harvey Keitel plays an FBI agent who is in the process of hunting down the people who stole this Declaration of Independence. And it's all cat and mouse, hunting, chasing, running, shooting, all that good fun action stuff. It's surprisingly family friendly. There's no profanity, and there's no there's no sexiness, there's anything else. There's none of this weird stuff that you'd have to have Walmart censor for you. It's honestly, it's good, solid, mature. It's mature in the sense that adults won't feel like they're being talked down to, and kids won't have things that are going to go over their head. And even though they won't understand everything, even some of the adults won't understand everything, they can still watch as Nicolas Cage and his crew put together the pieces and go, oh, I see how they got from here to here to here, and how everything fits together. It's kind of, it feels like you're along with them doing it, and you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And then you're on the adventure with them. So that's what makes the National Treasure films fun. And this is the one that started it all, and hopefully we'll see some more with Nicolas Cage and some others, and Riley, of course, and Abigail. So yeah. Oh man, wouldn't it be great to see Sean Bean as the bad guy again? Ooh, after all these years. because you know him from Game of Thrones. He's Ned Stark, Lord of the Rings, everything else. He's been in so much else, but it's a good solid cast. It's a good solid story that keeps moving, and it's just fun. Even if it isn't 100% real, it still feels fun to ride, along for the ride. So yeah, I can't recommend this to you enough. It's one of those things, kind of movies that you kind of forget about, and you go, you know what? I really like that film. I need to watch that again, and it stands up. So give that a shot, especially if you haven't seen it in a while, or if you've never seen it. All right, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
398.
Ooh, we're staying in the 300s. 398. Won't have to scroll far. Huh. Okay. 398. We're still, man, we're doing a lot of documentary stuff. Sorry that we keep hitting back to this, because I'm not sorry, but it's random. So it's, we've had a stack of movies back to back for a long period of time. I don't know what this is. It could be a series. It could be just one episode. We'll see. If it's a series, we'll watch 1 or 2 episodes. But One Strange Rock. One Strange Rock is what we're going to watch. It's probably a Nat Geo thing. Maybe it's about Earth, or the third rock from the sun. So who knows? One Strange Rock on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.